Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey, and I have my, my mic on. Yes, there was a construction going on outside of the building, and it's making a lot of noise. So I was hoping that it will cut down the sound. But I see now they just stopped. At least they stopped for now. Yeah, I hope you all are doing well. And today is March 19, 2020. And the time right now is, okay, 2:05 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm just relaxing here. Hey, yes, hello, Creative Revival. How are you doing? Yes, greetings, greetings. Yeah, I'm just coming on now. Thank you for coming on so soon. Yes, it's always appreciated. Yeah, I hope you can hear me. Let me know if the sound is okay. I had to put the mic on. They were doing construction in the back. So I'm going to cut back on the sound. Yeah, I want to talk about different things. Oh, great, great. I'm glad you can hear me. Creative Revival. Thanks. Thanks for responding. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about various things as it pertains to me living in New York City. And as you know, in certain things that are happening now, this virus, yeah, I'm trying not to even say, the word, because if you use that word, they'll flag, that they'll demonetize. It's really something. So it's not even, you don't even have the freedom to even say the word, okay, or put it in your description. So that's why I wrote it the way I did. Certain things, like I didn't want to say the V word, so I just said disease. So hopefully they don't. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm about an hour north of you, and I'm really interested in what you're thinking. Oh, okay. Oh, so tell me, Creative Revival, do you live near New Rochelle? Because I understand they have a lockdown in that city, and they brought in the National Guard to distribute food and who knows what else. Yeah, let me know. I'm curious about you too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm right in the heart of New York City. So I get to see a lot of things that are happening, the trends and everything. And I never would have thought that this crisis was going to spread the way it was. So I just feel like I have a little sticky pad and write like my, like one or two words to remind me about certain topics. Yeah, but definitely let me know what's happening up where you are. Well, anyway, I want to talk about different things. I'm first going to talk about more of a up note. I'm going to talk about the crisis thing a little later on, but it's all going to blend in though. Okay. Well, yeah, my little doggy. That good boy. Good boy. Well, I went out yesterday, and I used to belong to a gym, but now with this crisis happening, so the gyms are closed now. But I wanted to get out, get some fresh air, and just kind of, I went to the beach. Yes, I did. Yeah, I went to Far Rockaway Beach. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah, Far Rockaway Beach is in Queens. And in fact, I used to live right there. We moved from that section of Queens when I was turning 5. Yeah, I um, I don't really remember the place, but I just felt kind of reminiscent yesterday. Uh, I decided like the night before, I knew I wanted to do something a little different, and because I've been staying indoors a lot. My dogs are home, and the ground was wet. Hey, how you doing? Camp Pohatan. Hey, how you doing? Yes, greetings, greetings. Thank you for putting in there in the chat. Yeah, yeah. I'm just really starting not too long ago. So yeah, yesterday I decided to go to the beach. Yes, and I went with one of my dogs. Many of you know I have three little dogs, but I decided just to take one of them, and luckily I only took one of them. Yeah, it could be challenging because I have to take mass transit. So I wanted us, and me especially, I wanted to get fresh air with all this crisis happening, with that uh, the health conditions that are happening now. To say it nicely, because I don't want them to flag this video. But I said, I don't want to be stuck in, and I want to I want to enjoy life. Spirit journey is about enjoying the moment. At least that's what I want for me. I want to enjoy the moment. I want to enjoy people. And I want to enjoy health. So that's why earlier this year, this month, March 2nd, I had joined a health club. But now all the gyms are closed as of, I think, Monday. It was Sunday or Monday. Yeah. So I said, let me just go out and I'll wear my protective gear. Let me show what I wore. Okay. These glasses, they're the side protectors. I have two glasses. These are the ones I wore yesterday. They're plastic. Okay. I have another type here. This is another type. I got these. I was a science major in college, and in chemistry we have to wear protective goggles. So they're kind of old, but they work. See, they have the vents on the side. Okay, yeah. So I wore these 2 days ago, and these yesterday. Okay, and then these masks. I just use this mask. Okay, great, great. Yeah, these are the N95, I think they're called. N95 masks. Yeah, is what those construction workers wear. Yeah, I got this several years ago. See, I make soap, bar soaps, and the fumes of these, when you're making soap, can get, yeah, mask work, anything is better than nothing. Good job, Swella. Yeah, yeah, you better wear it. You do, creative? You make soaps also? All right. All right, yeah. I make the liquid soap and the cold press bar soaps. Yeah. I haven't made some in a while. See, I made a whole slew of bar soap, and so I'm trying to use it up. But I want to make the liquid soap soon. Yeah, because the oils, I bought a lot of oils, and what do you call it? Different oils to make the soap. And I don't want it to get too old. That is how I did it. Yeah, giant batches. Yeah, yeah, I make large batches. So this is supposed to protect against some of the fumes, okay? And I used it yesterday and the day before. And this metal piece here, it hurts my nose. I have a big nose. It presses on the nose, and when I had these goggles on, it really, put pressure on it. So, yeah, I noticed with these, these things, I didn't, I don't know how you're supposed to clean them, but when I put them on yesterday, I noticed an odor, and I didn't like it. So this morning, I filled up my bathroom sink with water, and I just put maybe a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of bleach in the water, and then I dunked this and these glasses, okay, because you wear them outside, Can I put this on the side? Yeah. My husband has been using disinfectant cleaner. Bleach was a good idea. Okay, thanks. Yeah, because see, when you use this and you see there's a little valve in it, you see that? Okay, this thing opens and closes when you breathe in and out. And moisture and bacteria can get caught in there. And so I don't want to get reinfect. I don't want to infect myself with my own germs, because the germs you have can multiply, you know. And so when it multiplies too much, you might get yourself sick. So I had it soaking in bleachy water uh, it was over an hour. And I took it out, rinsed it with a little fresh water, and it's just going to be on the side and drying. So I'm not going out today, but once that thing is dry, if I want to go out tomorrow, I'll use it. Yeah. Oh, so what was I saying now? Oh, okay. So yesterday, I decided to go out and I wanted to get some fresh air, and the sun came out. Yeah, the sun came out yesterday. And I said, I want to appreciate life. I want to appreciate the loved ones in my life, my little doggies. Lily is right here. Let me show you Lily. She's sleeping. Let me show you. Let me turn the camera. Say hello, Lily. Say hello. She's sleeping. Yeah, this is Lily. She's sleeping. Raise your head up. Lily, come. Okay. Okay, God. Yeah, she's sleeping like a rock. Yeah, now she's turning over. Yeah. Yeah, she's my first little girl. My other two little babies, they're on the side there. But yeah, I needed to pay more attention to them. We've been cooped up in the house, and I just wanted to get some fresh air. I was going to bring all of them. I said, I've never brought them to the beach. I don't know how they're going to like it. I said, let me just bring one. And I had her traveling case, and she was very good. Yes, it took 2 hours to get there. I take the A train. There are two A trains. There's one A train that goes to some other area in Queens, and then the A train that goes to Far Rockaway Beach. And that's where I was born at. The first place I lived up to the age of 4 was Far Rockaway. We left in the late 1960s, and I was approaching 5 years of age when we left. So I lived in another part of Queens, Hollis, Queens to be exact. And so I said, I feel that, wow, you look a little, you took a little trip. Oh, yeah, yeah, I took a little trip, Creative Revival, yes. It was wonderful, If you guys could do it, also go to your nearby beach, do it. Don't go with a large crowd. But I knew wouldn't be, I presume it wouldn't be a lot of people there. But I took the 2 hour ride that it takes. And look, I just needed to take one train, just one train there and back. It was very direct. And I want to share something about this trip. It's all going to tie in. Now, Far Rockaway, it is a high crime area, I was told. It's it's a place where the different parts of Far Rockaway, but the part of Far Rockaway where I was actually living in, uh, it's heavily black, West Indians, and Hispanics, and it's Poorville, and it's high crime, I was told. When I lived there when we left in the late 1960s, I think it's called the projects. It's just government housing, and the buildings were only 2 years of age. So these were new buildings in the 1960s. These projects, as it's now known as, oh, they were new. They were built new. It's this strong structures. That's my little doggy. Yeah. You having a good time? Let me show you her. See, she's awake now. You had a good time yesterday, Lily? You went to the beach for the first time. You enjoyed yourself? She's Lily. She's my sweetie. I love you, Lily. Okay, let me get back talking. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I like to include her now because I see she's there. This is Lily that I just showed you. She's my girl, and I told her when I first got her, I said, you know, if I ever get additional dogs, you're going to be the number one dog. Yes, because you know doggies have feelings, and she's always by my side. She shadows me everywhere, and I feel sometimes I don't give her enough affection. You know, sometimes I get busy in my own world, but you know, she is with me 24/7 when I'm here. And I see, don't take your little babies for granted. Don't, because one day, you know, anything could happen. She is she's there for me. When I'm upset, if I get an anxiety attack or something, she is there. She is. And so I don't want to take her for granted. So we went out yesterday, and I brought her along. You know, I brought her, put her in her carrying case, and she was really, she's quiet the whole time. And when I took her out of her crate, it's like a traveling thing, has wheels attached to it. And when she got on the sand, she loved it. Yes, she did. She rolled all over on the sand. Yeah, she's a real earthy dog, and she's very good with people. So yeah, so what I was saying with this particular area in Far Rockaway, Queens, it's known for, you know, it's a poor community, and again, when we were there, I think the buildings were only 2 years old, and back then, um, you had different races. You actually had white people there. Yes, you did. You had all types of people. These were buildings that were, you know, right after the war, right after World War II and then the Korean War. They were building affordable houses for people when they came back home from the military because they were to start their own families. So these were, it was designed just for like a to start out in. You get your own place, you know, and then you save up your money, and then you save for a house, and that's what our family did. So yeah, we were only at that place for, let's see, I think we moved in when the buildings were only 2 years of age, and our family moved. Let's see, I think we were there for like a total of 6 years. Yeah, so I was going on 5, and then we have a sibling just before us, and I think he was actually born there too. So let's say 6 years we were there, 6, 7 years. So, but the buildings were new, and then uh, uh, my family was able to, you know, save up enough money to move into our own house. So, but the trend, the politics of these affordable houses, it started changing, and it became like, rather than a step up, it was used to keep people there, you know, and so you got locked in there, and people weren't, you know, the economy, you know, things really got bad. So it became what it became. So when I was in the train going there, there's this long strip because see, this is a beach area. It's like a little peninsula, and the train goes across this peninsula and you're surrounded by water. And then it goes to this other peninsula, and that's where the beach actually is. It's a nice trip. And I did do a video a couple of years ago, my trip to Far Rockaway. Yeah, I think if you go on my channel, Spirit Journey, and then type in the search bar, Far Rockaway, you'll see one or two videos, and I think I show part of this peninsula thing. Okay, excuse me. So yes, I was very reminiscent about going to Far Rockaway to get this fresh air, and yes, it takes a long time to get there, and it has its reputation. So so I just brought one of the dogs, as I said earlier, and so we get to the peninsula, and the sun was out, and it was looking really nice. The first stop is 67th Street. That's 67, and it's these new. It looks the buildings look very very new. They look like beach houses. Not the project. The projects are away from the the beach. It's like maybe 5 blocks away from the beach. And it's really a nice feel to it, how the sun reflects off of it. And I wasn't ready to get off, so let me go a little further down, because the area that I actually was raised in was like a 51st Beach 51. And so the first stop was 67, and then the stop after that is 61. So I said, let me get off at 61 because I didn't want to stay on the train too long. So let me just get off, and I can always walk a little further down if I want to. And also, I was noticing that the further down you went, the more kind of dilapidated it looked. Yeah, I want to be honest about my feelings. See, a lot of times it's not what you say, but also what you think. And I was a little nervous. I'm protective over my dog, and I haven't been in that area for a while. So I said to myself, well, I don't know. you know, I was thinking, hey, maybe I should have gotten off at 67th Beach 67 instead. And then I said I had to catch myself. I mean, I said it to him in my head. I said, you know something? Don't be biased. Don't prejudge. That's the word. Don't prejudge. I got off the train, and then I found the exit. But in the back of my mind, and but it's something that I felt. So I said, just do what you got to do. Go. Don't judge people. Just go, mind your own business, and go to the beach. Okay. So I tried to find the entrance to go in, and it turned out to be a very positive. This was a blessing in disguise. Yes, I would have missed out. That's the whole point. I know I'm long-winded, but yeah, everything is for a reason when I talk. But this was actually a blessing for me. The stop that I got off at, and I would not have seen what I saw. Yeah, I feel like I should take my daughter for a little hike, and the dog, yeah, go for it, Creative Revival, go for it. Yeah, see, we only guaranteed the moment. I'm not guaranteed anything else, and I wanted to enjoy the moment. So I had, yesterday I had to make a mental note and say, don't prejudge someone. Yes, this may not be the most glamorous area. No, this is also, I need to listen to someone just speaking. You're calming me, and I am focused for the first time. They say, oh, great, great. Thank you for that feedback. See, you nourish me also, you guys and gals. Yeah, well, when I say guys, I mean ladies too. It's just a New York expression. But yeah, you encourage me also by the things you say. I learn from you, and we all feed each other. So anyway, see, I have to overcome my biases also. We all have fears, insecurities, or sometimes we experience certain things and it may linger. So I did keep a mental note of the thought that popped in my mind. And you know what they say, not all thoughts are your thoughts, okay? But I got off the train and started looking for the entrance to the boardwalk. Yeah, what do you call it? Far Rockaway Beach is a humongous, humongous beach. It is miles long, and the deepness of the water to the shore, it's a humongous beach. Yes. My name is Maggie, guys. But okay. Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Creative Revival. Yes. So, yeah, so this is a beautiful, Far Rockaway Beach. See, it's Queens's jewel. It is. It's understated because see, the area now is half of Far Rockaway is people of color, and the other half is another group. And so the group, the place where I was going to, it's not like, see, I used to live in another state. I used to live in Hawaii, and the culture there, or the society there, they're into beach life. They even, the expression beach bum. You know, yeah, people. It's a whole cultural thing. You hang out at the beach. Everyone has a surfboard. Everybody wears flip flops, and we call it trunks all day. It's a beach life culture, or at least it turned into that. While in Queens, New York, that part of Queens, Far Rockaway, Queens, the people of color there, they're not in the beach culture. They wear regular street clothes, sneakers. They're not into the beach scene, and they're really not into getting suntans. Everybody got a natural suntan like this, okay, and darker, if you know what I mean. So I I headed to the beach, and then I noticed these two ladies. They could have been around my age, and they were wearing a turban, and they're wearing all white. And I said, and they're headed towards the beach, just where I was going to. And I said to them, I said, hello, ladies. And they said hello. And I was wearing my I was wearing all black actually, and a long, down coat, and then a second layer underneath, and my black boots. Yes, I was dressed completely opposite as these ladies. And then I had my dog in the stroller. So I said, hey, I was just noticing what you're wearing. Are you going to like a ceremony? Something like that, I said. And they said, yes. I said, oh, wow. I said, could I come? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And the ladies graciously said, yes. So I joined them and I introduced myself. Yes, I was, introduced myself and they gave their names and then we just headed over. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like that. You know, New Yorkers are really, other people of color, West Indians, blacks, when we're out and about and we're just doing our own thing, we really are a friendly people. We really are. When we like one on one, and we were all ladies, uh, and I did something like that before with the West Indian Day parade. Yeah, I was on the train, and I said it to a lady next to me, black woman, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to the parade, and is this, what stop should I get off at?" And to make a long story short with her, she was a West Indian woman, young woman, in her 30s, And she was going to the parade. She says, "Hey, I live right by the parade. Come to my place and let me just drop off my things and we go to the parade together." And that's what we did. Never met her before, but you find that we really are a friendly people, but sometimes with stress. And it's all economic. And it brings out the worst in us, the ugliness in us, you know. But it was a wonderful experience, that West Indian Day parade with her, yes. And so, with this beach thing that I went to yesterday, the ladies said I can join them, and we continue onward to the beach. And in front of us, some people, yeah, I love New York. I've met people just sitting on the train. Yes, yeah. Thanks for sharing, creative. Thanks. Yeah. So, see, I used to be an extremely shy person. I wouldn't have ever done something like this, you know, go on a YouTube and or talk to people. Yeah, I was very shy. So so a lot of things that I do is to help to overcompensate the shyness that I used to have. So I joined these ladies, and then a couple of yards ahead there was like blankets that they were setting up some ritual thing. Yeah, they had like a circular cloth. Yeah, it was a circular cloth, and they had this African staff, and then these trinkets on the edge of this circular cloth. And I introduced myself, and it was wonderful. And I did take some videos, a brief one. I'm not sure if I'll put it up, but um, it, I don't remember the name, but it was to celebrate the something about the snake. I know, you know, people think of a snake or the serpent, you know, but it was to celebrate, you know, see, they're spirits. And again, I'm no expert about this, but you have people of African ancestry, especially in Latin America, what they call Latin America. See, a lot of places in Latin America have held on to their African traditions, traditional African ceremonies, belief systems, and that's all what this is about. So, yeah, it was a total of, let's see, initially it was only 10 of us, and then 3 people came later on. You had a woman who played a little, like this Native American looking drum. She was originally from Colombia. She was a very light skinned woman, straight hair, and it was her birthday too. And all the other practitioners were all blacks or West Indian blacks. A very nice group of about almost half and half of men to women. Um, the age range could have been late 20s to 50s. It was a nice group. It was very positive. We started off with a word of thanks, and everyone was to introduce themselves, you know, give their name and a little bit about them. And this is the first time that any of us really met one another. Um, we had a cacao ceremony. Yes, cacao. Cacao is, we call cocoa. Um, it was served warm. It was a natural cacao, and they put a little bit of cinnamon and cayenne pepper to it, and has a. They put a little bit of agave sweetener in it, but it was very nice. Yeah, I would like to learn how to make that. Um, and we did a ceremony before we drank it, and she also played the flute. And this lady who was playing the Native American drum and the flute, uh, she told me she's from Colombia, but she was adopted by a Jewish family. And so from early on in her life, she was fascinated with different cultures. And she's eclectic in her spirituality. And it was great. It was a wonderful experience. And they actually did this meetup. Um, it was to do the ceremony and to do yoga. I forget the name. It's a something yoga. And a man was to do that, to facilitate that class, the yoga aspect. But I forget the name, what they call it. But it's an Afrocentric yoga. And I had to leave early. Like I was there with them. Let's see, it was approaching 12:30 in the afternoon, and I left when it was approaching 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we were there for a while. And yeah, my little doggy was getting cold by this time. The sun was starting to go down a little bit. So my point in sharing this story is that here initially I felt a little uncomfortable at first because I saw that certain areas in Far Rockaway is a little challenging. It's high crime, but I said don't be biased, and because people are what they are, but just because this might be an area that's not glamorous doesn't mean that they're bad people, right? There's some so-called nice areas and they see people that look like me, they will run away, you know? So don't don't look down on people. And if people says you don't like them, they're gonna feel it, right? And I came there because, I've come there several times by myself, but I was just, it's a thought that came in my mind. I'm being very honest. So I want to be honest with you guys because one's thought life is very important. And sometimes we have to check what goes in our own mind, okay? If I would have gotten off a different stuff, see, part of me was thinking, oh, maybe I should try the other location, on the left side of the island for the beach, which is tends to be a different group, a little bit more a better economy. Yes, I am from Jersey City. It's a human nature that we just size up. Yes, yeah. Thank you again for sharing that creative. Yeah. So if I would see, if I didn't challenge my thought that jumped in my mind, I may have gone to a different location. I would have missed out on this circle group, okay? And I want to learn more about African traditions, spirituality. Yeah, that's very important. And these were, all people of color. And I want to meet people who are interested in spirituality. And it was just by chance. If I would have got, listened to what my head said, I would have lost out on this wonderful experience. And I did get two of their emails, contact information. And the lady, the co-facilitator, said, hey, I'll give you my contact number. And the next time we're having, yeah, I want to meet you. So, oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You could put down Camp Paho, I can't even pronounce the name. Yeah, put down your information um, in my yeah my email is spiritofazalea@gmail.com. That information is also in my contact information on uh, my YouTube channel. You'll find that information. So anyway, so what was the thing now? Yeah, I would have missed out. And so, yeah, I gave her, no, she gave me her contact information. And she said, hey, the next time I'm giving a class, we're having a meetup. Hey, I'll contact you and let you know where we're meeting. So I said, great. So, yeah, so I have her information. I'll probably write her a quick email to thank her and, so we could stay in touch. So if I would have listened to what my thought was, and just because a place might be poor, they might be the first people to rescue you. Yes. Yeah. So this is why I'm also sharing this story. And also, this story leads into this whole crisis, this health crisis that's happening now in New York City. Uh, there have been some rumors about possible shutdown, you know, quarantine. You know, you have to stay in your home. And so, luckily, I did go out yesterday, you know. But so things are intensifying now. And this part of this live stream that I'm doing is going to lead up to uh, biases that happen. Um, Not to me, but um, let's see, over the weekend, you know, I told you guys that I'm taking guitar lessons. Well, with all this thing now, I officially canceled it today. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm concerned about this quarantine thing, and I'm new at this guitar class. What 1 month? Yeah, I signed up about 1 month ago, and it's 1 day a week. And they're really nice people. This guitar center that I've been going to, really really nice people. Um, but I think I needed to cancel because this lockdown, and I have it what you call automatic, when they take out money from my account automatically. Well, if it's closed, it's going to just keep on taking out from my account, and I don't want that. So I officially, you know, I called them today, and I told them, I said, you know, with this scare, um, and there may be a shutdown, citywide shutdown. So I rather now, you know, to just cancel, you know, and luckily I did it today. See, I I supposed to contact them um, like the month before the 20th. Like the new cycle begins on the 20th. Yeah, yeah, you had to cancel other things too, creative. Yeah, yeah. You know, I don't want to have to do it, but you know, you have to be smart, and you have to conserve your money now. Okay, so yeah, the cycle ends on the 19th, and then the 20th, the new cycle begins, and that's when they take money from my account. So auto debt. Yeah, that's what it is. I need to be smart. Yeah, debit. Auto debit. Yeah. So I called them today around 11 something this morning, and I followed up with an email too. You know, I spoke with the person on the phone, and I said that I'll follow up with you know, just, you know, confirm that everything is done with an email, just to CYA, you know. Yeah. So I did that, and I started looking at some more videos on this whole crisis thing. And I discovered that there were some bias attacks. Yeah. Now, oh, I remember, I did just mention about this music lessons that I'm taking. Well, the person at the front who logs in our equipment when we bring it in, she was telling me that she heard of some bias attacks. And I said, wow, I never heard of that, you know, bias incidents because of this crisis. Never. But I was led to today to look on some videos on the health crisis. And lo and behold, there were some things going on. And I'm a little sad about this. Yeah, I think it's important. And again, it's perception. Now, I'm, I'm pretty laid back with regard to a lot of stuff. But I was surprised that there were biases against people from of East Asian ancestry, or people who look like they could come from East Asia, that they have been, some of them have been targeted. And they showed some clips over YouTube, and it was very disturbing. Um, wow. Again, disease and ethnicity. And it's really something that you have diseases all over the world. But when a condition gets associated with a particular group, and if that group is not white, you're in trouble. Wow, that, yes. Two videos in particular that I was watching. Uh, wow, both of them, let's see, one was, took place in California. Yeah, they have this health crisis in California. It's even more of an epidemic, California to the East Coast. Um, he looked like a Hispanic fellow, and then the two things in New York City, the videos that was captured, uh, two black people, and I just couldn't believe it. Especially, we black people or West Indian. Come on, guys, come on, let's stop the nonsense. Let's stop the nonsense. You know better than that. Um, I was very upset when I saw it. Now, I don't know why the person who took the video, I don't know why they were showing this individual. But you see a small person running up the stairs, and then they wanted to exit, and they had a facial mask. And as they're going down the hall, now this someone who was taking, I guess using their smartphone, taking the picture of this woman. I don't know why they were even taking the video of her. But lo and behold, a person that was, they were going towards each other. I mean, the person with the mask and the person that they will encounter, intercept. And it was a man, a black man, that is trying to beat her viciously. It was very disturbing. A small female, and then you have a man beating up a woman viciously. I couldn't believe it. And there was another black fellow, heavy set, and he looked like he was on the 7 train. Like in New York City, we have trains, and some of the trains are elevated, run above ground. And there were a lot of people of East Asian ancestry looking people there. And you see this one black fellow, and he's yelling at this man, young man. He could have been in his early 20s, the Asian fellow. And then the black guy gets this spray and starts spraying the guy. I was really, I mean, see, I'm angry at things like that because, see, that's being vicious. And we as black people, whether you're light or dark skin, mixed race or pure blood African, whatever, no matter where you go in the Americas, you are a black person, period. And you're a black person overseas. And anything could happen to you when you're out of your territory. And it's dangerous for us in the United States at times. See, New York City is really, I mean, it's a lot of people in New York City. But you go outside of New York City and you're going to be surrounded by white people, all types of people that don't look like you. And the pendulum can swing both ways. And for you to do that, living in America and knowing how the crisis is, and knowing how hard it is for us to get jobs in New York City, and to see that many of our jobs are being taken over by new immigrants, people that don't look like you or talk like you. And when you go into certain companies, you're not in them. If you're in these companies, you're usually security guards, right? But you're going to do a foolishness and beat up a woman because she has a facial mask on. Now, someone could have, like I showed you earlier, I had my mask on yesterday and goggles. But see, I'm not as tiny as the people from East Asia. I'm considered very tall for New York City. Okay, I'm considered very tall and my skin is dark. But I wouldn't want someone to go beat me up because I have a mask on or goggles. Blacks are in a very um, hairline position. Anything could happen to us. And so when you, being a black person, and you're beating up somebody because of this health crisis, what about that time when they had that Ebola? They could think, oh, you're from Africa, and they could have beat you up. Remember that Ebola. And Ebola is even more deadly than this other thing, this other virus out there. This current crisis, it's a flu, it's the flu, and it's usually the very old and those with compromised systems that are getting sick. See, it's really interesting with the diseases and ethnicities. So when I first learned of this crisis that they have here, yeah, Ebola is horrible. Yeah, that's what Creative Revival is saying. Yeah, exactly. So when I first heard of this current virus out there, I just, I watched, and it took place in China, and the people started to, the authorities started arresting people and locking them in their own home. I didn't take it as a racial condition. I took it, okay, it's a virus, something, and it gets airborne. And anyone, if I lived there, I probably get it too, right? But see, now they're making it into an ethnicity thing. At least some people. But when I initially heard it, it wasn't about race. It was just a location. Okay, so I just feel it's important to let to remind other black people, or West Indians, or Hispanics who who are from the Caribbean or other parts of the Americas, be careful, because anything could happen with us and the economy. And as a reminder that again, some of these East Asian people may one day be your doctor, may be your new employer. And my experience in general with people from East Asia origin, they treat me very well. When I went to school, high school, I had friends from East Asia. They treated me well. They at least the one from China never said it, never even joked around with regard to race or ethnicity. Never, never. People from China, they're really I like them. They treat me well in general. I am my whole life in doing business or going to establishments from people of East Asian descent. There were three incidences ever that I encountered, but I've been dealing with them for 30 plus years, and usually always positive. They treat me. I feel they treat me like their own when I go to their stores. When I go to a restaurant, my the food that I eat. When I go get what do you call it? Get takeout food. It's Chinese food or Chinese establishments. You know, I don't have they don't bother me. There's usually never a hassle in and out, and many of them have businesses in black neighborhoods, and it's okay. So we have to remember, hey, how do they treat us? In general, they're fine. They don't harass people. I've never seen them say anything pejorative. I've never heard them make fun of black people music or black people. Never. But now you have a crisis that's happening in a part of the world, and many people of that background do live in New York City. But why are you linking them? Now, if they say, "Hey, I just came from that place from where they have a disease," then I could say, "Hey, wisdom." But it's based on where someone has been. If someone said that I was in the danger zone, then of course you use common sense and limit exposure to places that have strong connections to a place that may be contaminated with. But to go and just see someone wearing a facial mask, and because they look like they're from East Asia, you don't go beat them up. See, that's a savage. And it makes me feel like that's people who do that type of beating up, that, that's part of what they really thought of that group all along. And that's my issue. That's what the real issue is. So it's something that a crisis like this could trigger how you really feel towards someone. And I think another reason why I'm mentioning this is because, see, looking the way I do, living in New York City, see, I was living in New York City at the time when the Twin Towers got destroyed. This year would make it, I think, let's see, about 19 years. Let's see, 2000. Okay, yeah. This year will make it 19 years since the Twin Tower destruction. Okay? And 2 weeks after the Twin Towers got destroyed, I mentioned this story before, but in short, when I went to open up a checking account in Queens, it wasn't in my immediate neighborhood, but I live in Queens and I wanted to open a checking account in Queens in the business district. And I was denied. And I was told that I was a terrorist, that they didn't trust me, and other stuff. The guy was a white fellow, and there were no repercussions that happened to him. I did write a letter, a typed letter, to the bank president, to the general manager of that bank, and to the newspapers, and some other agencies. Yeah, I wanted the whole world to know that I was being verbally attacked. Luckily, this guy didn't hit me. This guy was, he lost it. See, this is 2 weeks after the 9/11, and how the sentiment was back then were about Arabs, and that all Arabs are bad. Anyone brown in my complexion, and I had a scarf. Did I have a scarf on my head? I forget if I had a scarf on. Well, I was wearing American clothes, wearing slacks. Yeah, just regular, you know, just regular clothes, regular American clothes. Um, but this guy right out said he was the manager of the bank, and there was only the assistant and the customer had a customer had just left. So it was just I was the only person in the bank, the whole bank. And the manager lost it. Okay. It was at the time one of the worst bias uh, incident against me. And again, I had another bias attack, verbal attack at another bank. It was a different one 10 years later. Yeah, unreal, unreal. But I knew how I felt with the first incident at the bank. Um, I knew how it felt to be called a terrorist. I couldn't believe it. And back then I was really shy. Um, I'm not loud or anything like that. See, people are going to, let's say, I would have beat him down if I was there. I don't play when it comes to my queens. All right. Yeah. See, I looked younger back then also. Again, I was younger. 19 years ago is 19 years. Yeah, this is in 2001, 2 weeks after 9/11. And the white people, also, there was another, I think, the real reason why the guy, see, again, people who write the laws and rules, see, they can change it over time, okay? And the, the rule was that it's called know your neighbor. And the know your neighbor rule regarding the bank was if they do not work in the immediate area or if they don't live in the immediate area, you could decline them because you need to know who's doing business. Now, I had all my ID, passport, driver's license, and I'm born there. I'm born in Queens. But see, the 9/11 thing happened. And so at that time, it was paranoia against any brown skinned person. Forget about it if you look like the so called Arab slash Middle Eastern, or you just the wrong color. And this was in a predominantly, see, this is the real issue that I think it was. It was in a neighborhood, what they call a Semitic neighborhood. Okay. Oh, oh, I see that the batteries might go down a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, my other little dog is here. Let's take a look. You want to take a look? Yeah, that's Labby. Hey, Labby. So, yeah, I think because it was a neighborhood that had a lot of Jewish people at the time, this was, I think, Regal Park or near Regal Park or Forest, between Forest Hills and Regal Park. It's a major shopping center, and that's why I opened the account there because they had a movie theater there. And I thought like I was coming back to New York City, back to Queens. I lived out of state for a couple of years at that time, and I was just coming back and getting back in the swing of things. And then I was in New York City at the time for approximately 6 weeks when the Twin Towers got destroyed, and I was trying to still get acclimated there and to set up a new bank account and just start my life all over again in New York City. It was very traumatic, this whole thing with 9/11. And I remember how I felt. And I knew that because of the neighborhood that I'm doing business in, and being denied. They said, "Well, you don't live here or and you don't work here." I said, "But this is the shopping district, and I've opened up bank accounts in Long Island, and I'm from Queens." And people did that because the borders are really come on, the borders are all next to each other. So you live in Queens, you're right near the Nassau County border, and many of us we go. They have the major shopping mall there, right on the edge of Nassau County, and you open up a business, what do you call it, a checking account. We all do it. Yeah, and there's no problem. But now, this guy is going to judge me and say you cannot do business here. And when he called me the terrorist and that I'm suspicious, it hurt my feelings. I will never forget that. And so when I watch these YouTube videos and see black people, black American people, West Indian people, Hispanic people, and you're doing that, you got to actually beat up somebody that you don't know, that never did anything to you, but because of their color, because of what they look like. How is that any different from that white guy that called me a terrorist? Because I opened up an account in a Semitic, heavily Semitic neighborhood in Queens. I'm born and raised in Queens, right? So an epidemic could happen in your community. They could, it's how people introduce certain things. In my perspective, it was just something that happened yeah, yeah, creative revival. That's right. What? Yeah, someone, yeah, someone could discriminate against you just because. So in the case with 9/11, with the World Trade Center, a white guy didn't like me because I'm a foreigner. It's in a predominantly white neighborhood, and denied me business. I was the only one in the bank. So you can't say he was busy. I said, look, I just want to open up an account. This is the business section, and I'm to do business. I just came back from out of state. I'm from here, from Queens, and I just want to open up a checking account. So people can do that to you too, black people, Hispanic people, anybody. They can say a disease comes for your neighborhood. And just look at this even further. Now, next to China, who has a lot of people who have it, Italy, Italy, what's up? 400 people died in one day yesterday or the day before? 400 people, right? And in Spain, someone could say, oh, Spain and Italy have, oh, we got a lot of Italians here, and oh, we got Spanish speaking people, oh, they might still do business in Spain, and target them, right? You know what I'm getting at. See how they present the media. They presented it as an ethnic disease. It's a region. If you did business in that area, yes, use discretion and avoid those places. Avoid places where the chances of getting it. And that's using wisdom. But you don't have a right to put your hands on anybody's body, and especially black Americans or West Indian Americans or Caribbean Americans, to do that and take a spray bottle and spray on that person. It was this Febreze, the on YouTube, black fellow taking Febreze and spraying it on an individual. You wouldn't like it, black people or brown people, if someone said, I don't like you're diseased, and put Lysol or something on you. You wouldn't like it. These same people that you're doing that to could one day become your boss, or your doctor. When you go to these schools, you don't find black people in these medical schools or these science schools. Very few. Who they're recruiting in New York City are people from Asia, whether it be East Asia or South Asia or Eastern Europe, not black people. And so I think it's really foolish and it gets me very angry. See, I didn't forget what happened to me in 9/11. I didn't forget to see what other groups were doing to people who they thought looked what they call Middle Eastern or North African. I saw it with my own eyes, some of the things. I said, I know why they're doing that to that person. We have to stop that. Because when the smoke settles here, it's going to be a lot of deaths. And the death could have been happening at your door. Anyone who's exposed to these viruses, excuse me, could get these diseases regardless of nationality or race or your accent or what language you speak. It's anything. This is a crisis, a health crisis. It's not a race crisis, it's a health crisis. And the air is has no name. Anyone who breathes it in, you can get it. Just hopefully you have a strong immune system. Okay? But yeah, so again, to tie in one's ethnicity to a disease, you know? And it's really funny. So here you have Spain and Italy that are in a really bad state, but they're not even saying it's a European disease. You have a lot of Europeans that are dying like flies. And the same thing could happen here. What if, as an American, let's say I want to go like Africa doesn't have this really. Oh, okay, your message was retracted creative revival. I don't know who retracted it. Yeah. But yeah, you have to remember that you too may be perceived as a foreigner. I've been overseas by myself, and I in general was treated very nicely. And back then, this was maybe 30 years ago, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me in the parts of Europe that I was at the time, and it didn't bother me. They could have easily beat me up and do anything with me, but I was at their mercy. They treated me very well when I was overseas. Yeah. So as an American, and a black American at that, what if I want to go to like parts of Africa? They don't have this virus there in many of the places in Africa. They can say, "Oh, you're an American, get away from Africa." What if you have a bunch of American blacks that want to go back to their homeland? They could easily say, "We don't want Americans there because you're diseased." They could say that same thing back at you. See, it's perception. It's all about perception. And maybe you might have the same coloring as them, but you're not them. You don't speak like them. You don't look exactly like them. You're not from their tribe. You'll be perceived as a foreigner who lives in America and who has a lot of people dying from this virus. See that? Always be kind to people because one day you may need their help. One day, just always remind yourself that one day something could happen to you and you're at their mercy. And I know what it's like to be overseas by myself as a female and at their mercy. Okay? Use wisdom in everything. And you know what else? I want to try to close this down soon. I have thought about this. Scary. That is why I have stayed inside as much as possible. Yes, and that's using wisdom. Yeah, use wisdom and all that. Right now it's wet outside, so I like to stay dry, and I don't like to bring my dogs outside when it's wet. But yeah, it's amazing with perception. Yeah, thanks, Creator Revive. That's nice. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you. Um, Interesting with perception. I think it was last month in February. I purchased a movie. The name of the movie is called Limitless. It came out some time ago. I loved the movie. I bought it because it talked about oh, what's the reason? Um, it was about this pill that was made, and it made your mind just it makes you think outside of the box, and it builds you up. And someone told me about the movie. And I said, I have to get this movie. Yeah. And I'm glad I did. Limitless. And there was a part in the movie where, see, I'm very interested in international. All my life, basically, most people who I know come from outside of my group. They could be people of color, as the expression goes, but they're from all different parts of the world. That's just how my life was. And I think I've been blessed by it. Uh, but anyway, there was a part in the movie when he took the pill and he wanted to. He was a writer, and he needed help getting more creative and everything. And he meets his former brother-in-law, and he said, "Hey, this could maybe help you." And yeah, it helped him, all right, and also got him in trouble. But there was a part in the movie when he took it, and it motivated him to really think outside of the box. And he started teaching himself that he said, I can learn a language in one day by just listening to people. And it was a part when he was able to speak East Asian languages. Yeah, East Asian languages. And I was just fascinated about it. There's a part when he was in a club. He was a white fellow, and he was in a black club dancing with this black lady, and then he was in a white club. And then he was able to bring his girlfriend to an East Asian place, and he spoke an East Asian language. I said, I like that. And I said, I think I would like to learn a foreign language. Yeah. And I said, how about learning an East Asian language like Mandarin? I kid you not. Yeah. Last month, let's see, it was February, and this month I signed up for music lessons, and then the gym. I was also contemplating taking up a foreign language, and I was contemplating learning Mandarin Chinese and go to a Chinese place like Chinatown and go to a Chinese, we call those Asian clubs, if there are any Asian clubs, and dance and talk, speak Asian, Mandarin or whatever, from watching that movie. Yeah. See, that's what I'm all about. I'm about being limitless, not just because of what I look like. I don't want my race or my gender to hold me back in life. And that's also why I do this live stream. That yes, the atmosphere right now is making people anxious, but don't be too anxious. It's really just to scare you and to make you feel like a victim because they want to implement changes in government. Personally, that's what I think was going on. But again, yeah, I'm learning my indigenous language. All right. Yeah, tell me what language you're learning. Yeah, camp. Yeah, tell me what language is your indigenous language. Yeah, see, when you're able to communicate with people in their foreign language, one thing is telling them, "Wow, you thought enough of me or my group to learn my language." And if you're not from that culture, and to learn the pronunciation, and if you could speak it well, it's very flattering. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, now you have this crisis. But I know how I felt, guys. Oh, Powhatan and Muskogee. Thank you. Okay. Nice. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Yeah. I mean, I could learn the Spanish, but I said, when I saw that movie Limitless, see, China to me symbolically means it's something that is so completely opposite of me culturally and racially. And to be connected to something so far removed, then you're not so far removed anymore. Yeah, I think when you really understand a culture and a people, you just take a disease as a disease, not as a race attached to the disease. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, you have some ignorant people out there who are linking this disease. Anybody can get a disease. Now, if someone used it as a bioweapon against a group, I can understand someone's anger. But the air is what it is. And Americans are getting it. And some places in Africa, they don't have this disease. But they can say the same thing to me. Let's say I want to go to Chad. They don't have it there. Oh, get out of here, you American. They could say that. And rightly so, because all the crap that we're doing over here and in Europe, banning people because they're from Asia, or their national origin is from a place. It's horrible. But remember that in history, what about what do you call the plague? We call it the Black Plague that destroyed over half of Europe in the Middle Ages? Yeah, disease is not new. And this disease could really be about nature putting things back into balance. And I think that's part of it. And I said that in a recent video. Yeah, the climate is getting so intense, and we're disrespecting Mother Nature. We are disrespected Mother Nature. We create GMOs and put it in our food. We put the toxins in the water. We're killing the trees. And recently we're re-implementing the paper bag. First they said no more paper bags because it's killing the trees. And then we implemented plastic bags, but the plastic bags are not biodegradable. And now we're going back to the paper bag. See, you know what we want to get at? It's foolishness. We're doing so much. We're doing so much harm over the planet and hurting each other. We're not respecting ourselves. See, this year, 2020, is about me being a better me, to get my health in order. I may not have a weight problem, but I'm out of shape. And so I wanted to encourage myself and get tone again, get fit. As you get older, you do get more tired. So I wanted to be personally responsible for my health, eating right. And I wanted to do something creative, so I bought a guitar. In January 2, I bought a guitar. And then February, I got my first guitar lesson. Yeah, 2020 is about being a better you, who you are. Be the best you, and come and help each other. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the circle group. If I didn't squash the thought that came into my mind about judging an area because what it looked like, I would have missed out in this circle group. And I met such really nice people that accepted me. So we can all do it. We can all learn about other people and have fun. 2020 is about having fun and being the best you. And that is the point of this message. I know it's very long now. Yeah. But it's all good. Please don't fall for all this crap. And yes, they may put us in quarantine, but rather than destroying each other, try to help each other out. Use wisdom in everything. Make sure you drink your water. Be resourceful. I bought my bags of rice, brown rice at that, and beans. And that's what I had today. And my dogs had some of it too. Yeah, I want to start conserving my money and the food that I eat, because I have a feeling it's going to really crack down on things and mobility. But that's all good. Just as long as you keep your health together, just be your best you, and don't take your family for granted. Okay? Yeah. Love your pets, love your children, who you live with, love your neighbor. And I have to remind myself that as well. Yeah, each one teach one. Thank you for teaching me. And yeah, and so until next time soon, this is Spirit Journey signing off this wonderful, wonderful day. Yeah, thanks again and stay safe. Bye bye.